Okay, coming back to the demo today. So basically you have a character, just an example of 3D model that you'll be able to export from Blender to Touch Designer. Alright, and first thing first you want to do is you want to join all of the separate objects in the scene together, alright, as one unified mesh. Okay, so over here you're going to see that I have the base body, and it's actually consisted of the head objects, the eye objects, the shirt object, etc. Alright, and these objects over here is joined together using Control J in Blender. Alright, and each of the material over here is separated, okay, but it's inside one unified mesh. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. And then next thing you want to do is I'm going to explain how you can bite, okay, all of the different texture of this character, all this material over here into one file, so that you can import it later into Touch Designer. Okay. Because now, if you take a look at the shading over here, you're going to see that each of this, click on the material, each of the slot over here is going to be a different material. Alright, slot 2, slot 3, okay, different material and different texture files. If I click on it, you're going to see that it's different texture file. So what you want to do is you want to bite, okay, or combine all of this texture, separate texture into one file, because in Touch Designer, okay, you cannot have separated objects for one character. You can actually, in theory, you can actually have it, but it's going to be more difficult to import many textures at once into one character and then use it to control other effects in Touch Designer. It's going to be a little bit more complicated. So that's why I'm explaining this workflow for you. Okay. Now, on the characters over here, to be able to bite all texture into one file, okay, you're going to create over here. You're going to press Shift A, search, and you're going to add in an image texture. Alright, and inside of the image texture over here, you're going to click on New, and you're going to call this Unify Bite Colors, and you want to set the resolutions, width and height of this texture as 4K. I'm gonna start it again. Unify Back Colors 1 at 4K, so 4096 by 4096. Alright, and then other settings, just leave them as they are. Ồ đúng nhỉ? New image, and you're gonna see we create a new texture over here, and if we go into the side view over here, you're gonna see we have Unify Back Colors. Turn this one on by clicking on this button. Alright, and then we're going to copy this texture to all of the material slot over here, because we want to tell Blender that, hey, I want to bake all of this texture, all this material slot into the new texture over here. Does that make sense? Yeah. Control C, and we go from the pants material over here, eye material. Control V, just paste it. All right. And shirt material, copy and paste. Hat material, copy and paste. Earring material, copy and paste. Base body, copy and paste. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. All right. And over here, instead of this browsing windows, I'm gonna switch it to UV editor. All right, by clicking on this little buttons over here, UV editor. And I want to be able to rearrange this UV over here, because now if I press tab and go into edit mode, you're gonna see that all the material, all the UV map over here is overlapping. And as a result of this, when we try to bake the material, they are all going to be overlapping on each other. Does that make sense to you? Yes or no? Yeah? Are you following along? Am I going too fast? Too fast? Where are you now? Yeah? So paste all of the material inside of the of each of the material over here. Copy and paste. All right. And then you go into this window over here. Choose UV editor. Make sure you are in edit mode, because otherwise the UV map is not going to be displayed on the left side. Ổn không nhỉ? Who said on? Yeah? Who? What's your name? Okay, and we press A to select all of the UV map. And you're gonna see the UV editing mode over here is going to highlight all of the map in orange. Now, if you don't see the UV editors over here, click on these buttons, little buttons, and switch it to UV editor. All right. And then you're gonna click on UV over here. You're going to click on average island scale. When you click on it, make sure that this one is orange, eh? Average island scale. Click on it, and you're going to see it try to scale up all of the islands over here. It's very messy, but don't worry, because we're going to tiki-taka. Okay? You understand the joke, right? And then we're going to click on Pack Islands. Pack Islands. Alright. Before click on Pack, make sure that you set the margins into something like 0.25. Okay. The margin over here is basically the space between one UV map and another. If you set it too low, when you put the texture on it, maybe it's overlap and it's causing displacement in the texture. Okay, so click on it, pack, and wait for it to pack all of the UV map inside of the rectangle over here. Ổn không nhỉ? Hả? Because the smart UV is going to do all the seam again, and this model actually, you see, is had a very good seam already. You understand? So what you get in DMS1 is using smart UV to UV unwrap the whole object. Is that correct? Where you learn about smart UV? YouTube?
Yeah.
Smart UV is not very smart because, let me tell you, let's do smart UV. You see that it's going to divide all of the UV map over here, and I turn on the texture just to show you. You're gonna see that the texture is going to be displaced, because when you use smart UV, the algorithm will try to be smart by trying to divide or mark seams automatically, and as a result, it doesn't account for the texture that has been in the model before. And the model, you see, anyone learn about seam in DMS1? Like mark seam for 3D model so that you can unwrap? No? Ôi rồi ôi. What is going on? Okay. So let me just show you. Let me just pack the island first. Before doing this, sorry about this. Before doing this, I have to go to the object data property and go into UV map. All right. Before packing all of the islands, okay, just undo until you see the UV map again. All right. I need to go into object data property, which is this little buttons over here, and create a new UV map for this. And I'm going to call this back. All right. And make sure you select this new UV map over here, because this is the original UV map. And just to answer your questions, why smart UV unwrapping is not working is because if you take a look at the hat over here, I have set and cut out the shape over here with seams. So seam is basically, think about it as this is what is called a seam. Okay, cái đường chỉ á.
Yes.
So when you unwrap an object in 3D, think about it as a pattern that is being laid out in 2D space, and you need good seams so that it doesn't, when the texture is applied, it doesn't make the texture discontinue. For example, I have a texture over here, and you see that the texture over here, okay, will be seamless, okay, or continue, okay, from one side to another because there's no seam. But around this area, you're gonna see that it's discontinue because there's a seam over here. All right. So when you use smart UV unwrap, it's not very smart because it's trying to do it the fastest way, okay, and it's create very weird kind of UV unwrapping, okay. So it's good only for texture that is mostly procedural, Alright, but with texture that has this kind of patterns, one way or another you have to learn to UV unwrap and mark seams, which is unfortunately I won't have the time to explain. Before, this course was about 3D character design and UV unwrapping, all those stuff, but now it's just Touch Designer. But bear with me, okay? Just remember that you need to learn how to mark seams to be able to have a good, proper UV so that you can apply texture on, okay? Limit your use of smart UV, okay? Now, going back to the lectures. So you have these objects over here with the character. Select all by pressing A, okay, and make sure you are on the back UV maps, okay, back UV map over here, and this button is still on for the UV map on top. UV average island scale and UV back islands. File back. Okay, so you have a new UV map that is ready to back. Okay, why you need a new UV map is because the old UV map over here, you're gonna see that is overlapping with each other. So we cannot bake using this UV map, and we have to create a new UV map for baking. Alright, and when you have this selected, okay, and then you make sure that all of the material over here, you click on the Unify Bake colors is highlighted, so you select them. Okay, make sure that you selected this material over here, and then you go into render tab. Make sure the render engines is cycle, and you go down to bakes. Okay, and the bake type over here, you're gonna choose diffuse. Alright, diffuse is another name for color maps. Are you follow along? Yes. Yeah? Diffuse. Okay. Uncheck direct and indirect. Okay? Because this is basically how lighting is going to bounce on the objects. And to bake or to convert all the texture into a unified texture, we don't need lighting. Okay? So uncheck direct and indirect. Right? And then size over here, we're going to leave it as 8 instead of 16. It's basically the margin between the islands over here. Alright? And then we're going to click on Bakes. And you're going to see a little loading icons over here. Is basically baking all of the separate texture in each of the objects over here into one unified texture. And let's wait for it, eh? Ổn không nhờ? You follow along. Alo. Minh ơi, help the students. Why not doing? Yes. Select the objects. New UV map, eh? Where's my cookie? Where's my cookie? Where's the bike? Huh? Yeah? Yes, copy faces. Every object, every material. You have to exit. Overcook. Show me the notes. I think because you miss some of the slot over here. Show me all the material. You miss the body. Yeah, you didn't select this, right? So it doesn't bite because you didn't select it. Where is the unified? Yeah. Show me the bikes. Loading. Of this. Okay. CUDA and optics is available for NVIDIA cards. If you don't click on the unify colors over here, it doesn't box the material inside of this slot. Okay. So I guess for people who got black babies is because you didn't click on the base body material. Okay. Make sure before you box, okay, all this unified back color is selected. If it's black, just click on the material again and click box again. Box. I have to open up this again because I cancel middle way. Oh là là. Just a minute, eh?
Yeah, what's the no active UV layer error?
You select the UV.
Yeah.
Huh? Select the UV spike, yes. Okay. If it gives you an error, invalid objects, just exit the edit mode, go back to object mode. Choose GPU. Save the file and then open it again. You can save the image is in byte. Okay, so going back to this, make sure you select all of the material slot with the back over here, back material over here, back texture over here. Select the base body and make sure the back UV map is selected. Alright, and I'm going to turn on the CUDA over here just to make things a little bit faster. So for the render engine is cycle and device is GPU. Okay, and then click on Backs. Just click it. Just click one now, because every time the backing process is, You back? Over here, I think Bikes. Wait a little bit. Still baking. Done baking. This one is done. Now,
change it to use as well.
Stand back in. Show me. It's missing the skin, right?
What's wrong? What's wrong? Oh, because you haven't put it. Would you like to do it with texture or not do it with texture?
See, because it's missing because we haven't copied the new bike material inside the bike. See this maybe why it's become black because of that. Now if you see black face, right, it's because the bike material, the bike image is not copied to the base body material slot. Alright, so make sure that before you bake, you make sure that all of the material over here has the unified bake colors selected and it's inside of those nodes. Okay, because this is you telling Blender that hey, we want to bake the color informations of this material into this files over here, so you need to select them all together. Save. Minh ơi, see if anyone need helps. Anyone not done? Raise your hand. Who done? Done. Done. Okay, all lecture display correctly, yes. What about this? Because it's a slab 8, I said download lab 10. And base body. Now, sometimes it gives you an error. Click again on this. Base body material. And base color now is black. So, only way you can do, maybe this file is error, has an error. So, this file. Download the lab 10, okay? Because the file is going to be more full. Now, to finish, show me the backs. Okay, all the UV map correctly displayed. Yes. And without the gene texture, bikes correctly. Bikes. Looking cool, huh? All black. Now, eyes, colors. Now, sometimes when you wipe the locks, it will not display the material correctly anymore. So you need to select the base color, original base color objects. Just to power it. Select base body. Bike, yes. Bike tie, untrack, direct, yes. Now, who can do it? Raise your hand, I come to you. Hello, all good? Okay, now, after you're done with bakings, you should have one unified texture for the characters over here. And you're going into this little buttons over here. Image. Save. Save or save as, it's the same. Alright? Save. And put it into a folder, save as image. Okay? And now we're going to set the file as well. Save. Alright? And then file. Okay, afterwards you should have one file that you have exported out. unified by color should look something like this. All right. Ổn không nhỉ? You have this file? Yeah? Cool. Now, we're gonna export the geometry of this character out of Blender. Okay? And we do that by going into File. Minh ơi, help me. File, Export. And we go for OBJ. Right? Make sure you select the base body over here. Okay? OBJ. And then we click on include selection only. Okay? Which means that it's going to only export out the base body mesh that we are clicking on, we are selecting. Because without this button, it's going to export also the camera, the cube, the light over here, which we don't need in Touch Designer. Ổn không nhỉ? So remember to click on this button. Alright? And two buttons that is very important. Apply modifiers, apply transform. Make sure these two are selected. And of course UV coordinates and normals. Alright? What does it mean, these buttons? Apply modifiers. It means that if you go into the modifier tab over here, you see that I have subdivision surface, okay, inside of Blender. If I uncheck these buttons, it's just going to export the model as a low poly, okay. But if I check this button, it's going to export with two level of subdiv. Hold on, yeah. So make sure you check on this. And material, leave it as it is, okay. Export wavefront OBJ into download folder. Okay. File exported successfully. We can go into Touch Designer over here. And how to import a file, 3D file into Touch Designer. Have you learned? Hello, have you learned how to import 3D files into Touch Designer? In week 4, did you learn that? Which add-on? Huh? Now, two ways you can import the 3D assets into Touch Designer. You can either drag and drop it directly. Okay, it's gonna be this file over here, lab10/1. Okay, and you see it's already recognized it as an asset in Touch Designer. All right, drag and drop it, and you're gonna see that it's imported easy as a pop, pop. All right, or you go into pop operator, file in. Okay, and the description here you see that import OBJ PLI. Okay, these are the file format that you can export from Blender. Okay, OBJ just one of them. File in, click on this, and then you click on geometry files, click on this plus buttons, and you'll be able to select the files, click on open, and it's the same. Okay, if you click on the lab 10 over here, it's is file in, this one is file in as well. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. Okay, I'm going to delete one of this. And then how to render this model out, guys? Geo. I have a geo ready. All right. And can connect this to this geo, so I'm going to delete this one. Okay, now how to add a geo into this objects, guys? Right click. Okay, hover the mouse in the middle of the nodes over here, right clicks, com, and geometry. All right, so it's Geo 1 has been added. Okay, and then how to render this one out, guys? Yes, we're going to add in camera. Let's wait for it. Okay, we're going to add in a what? Render top. Okay. Render top. All right, and it's give us a arrow buttons. Okay, no camera confound. Okay. Normally, what you do, guys? You add a camera, right? Today, I'm going to show you another way, which is easier to set up camera. Pay attention. We're going to divide the screen into two. Click on these buttons. Divide it. And on the right side over here, we're going to select panel. Ổn không nhỉ? So this is the preview of the 3D files, right? Normally speaking, you will add a camera comp, but this time I'm going to show you another way. You open up palette, okay? And in the palette over here under tools, you're gonna find camera viewport. Drag and drop this component into Touch Designer. All right, and make sure that in the render, okay, press P to open up the render. It's not cam 1, but it's going to be camera viewport. So basically we tell Touch Designer, this is my camera. It's not cam 1 anymore. Okay, and you see a connection between the render and the camera viewport over here. All right. And now connect the render to the out. And in the camera viewport over here, you're gonna go into camera, and in the panel com over here, instead of the render view, you're going to add another dot over here. Okay, so now this is where the magic happens. You'll be able to rotate the 3D objects inside the panel views. Okay, and you'll be able to preview. You'll be able to set the camera easier. Okay. Ổn không nhỉ? Hello. Yeah, try to set up this camera so it's easier for you to set up 3D camera in Touch Designer. Huh? And then if you click on keyboard over here, all right, you turn on WASD key active, you'll be able to zoom in and zoom out with the buttons on your keyboards. Let me save the file first. And if you click on reset camera, it's going to reset it to the default camera. Okay? And right click on the panel now, you'll be able to see the top view, right view, left view, back view, front view. Yeah, it's on the panel com over here. Just replace it with 2 dots. All right.
When we do that, it's showing black or
It's black. Check if you have the render.
yes.
The camera is camera viewport. Yeah.
The render showing, but not the camera view.
The panel view, right? Keyboard. Okay. Now let me see. Divide this one into panel from network editor. Camera viewport. Because you have to output this with an out. Out. See? Otherwise, doesn't work. Start designer? Yeah? The end of all of the nodes should be the out top. Palette here. No. This is that. Start here. If it doesn't work the first time, just close that designer, open it the second time. Okay? Save the file. Okay. Still backslash. Oh. Sometimes we will base point. You have to click on the base point for it to set. If the keyboard doesn't work the first time, just open Blender. sorry, open and close Touch Designer. Okay, now you can use the SASD key over here to control zoom in and zoom out of the character. You can use the middle mouse button over here to rotate around the characters. Can you do that now? Yes or no? Yeah. Okay. Now next step, I want to set some lighting for this character. How do I do that, guys? Okay, comp and light. Okay, I can add one light over here. And this become the characters over here. Now, I will teach you on how to use an HDRI or environmental map to achieve realistic rendering in Touch Designer. What is an HDRI in Blender? What is environmental lighting in Blender? Have you learned about it? HDRI. Huh? What is it? Yeah, 360 degree camera. Okay. And in Touch Designer, you can access the same kind of environmental lightings by going to comp and environmental light. Okay. And this gives you an error over here because it's require an HDMI map, HDRI map. Sorry. And we can use movie in top, movie file in top. Okay. And then if we open up the file over here, inside of Touch Designer root folder, you're gonna see an HDRI over here, Cloudy Oceans 2K. Click on it, open, and drag and drop it to the environmental map over here, environmental map. Okay. You see nothing change, okay? Because we need to add in a material as well. So I'm going to add in a PBR material. PBR is physical based rendering. Okay? And drag the PBR into the geometry to set the material. Okay? And now, if I go into the PBR over here, you're gonna see that it's very similar to the PBR in Blender principle BSDF, right? It has metallic, roughness, alpha, normal, etc. Okay? And if I reduce the metallic over here and the roughness over here, and reduce the ambient occlusion over here, you're going to see that the lighting of this character over here is actually influenced by the texture, the environmental lighting of the texture over here. Ổn không nhỉ? And if we zoom in into the characters over here, you're going to see the reflection of the environmental maps over here, all the clouds and the sky, just like Blender. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah? Yes? Now, this is just to show you that you can set up the HDRI map over here, but you can also select another HDRI map if you go into program file, and for example you have a file that you can download from HDRI Heaven. So this website over here is going to give you a lot of HDRI depending on the scenes you'll be able to pick up. Okay, I'm going to pick this one, and 1K is okay. I can just download this file, EXR, okay, and I can drag and drop this one to Touch Designer and replace it in the environmental map over here, and we have another lightings, okay, the pinkish environmental maps. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. And then next thing I want to show you, okay, we have environmental map over here. How about the texture that we had back in the previous step in Blender? Okay, just drag and drop unify back colors over here. Okay, how do I set this map into the material over here? Have you learned? No, not yet. Okay, so in the material PBR, this is the setting, setting metallic, roughness, ambient occlusion, etc. But if you click on the tab maps, you'll be able to access all of this map over here, and you can drag this back colors. Is going to be diffuse map or base color map. It's just different name in different program, but it means the same thing, the color information of the texture. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. So if you drag it here, you're gonna have the character exported from Blender to Chat Designer. Yeah. Of course, the materials a little bit shiny. You can use the roughness over here, increase it. Okay, so that it looks more or less the same as the character in Chat Designer. In Blender, sorry. Okay. And all the texture is correctly displayed. Ổn không nhỉ? Yeah. That's how you export a character with material from Blender to Chat Designer. Get số? Yeah. Get số? Ổn không nhỉ?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And this is rendering natively in Chat Designer. What is the advantage of this? Okay, anything happens with the animations is real time. Okay, so if you want to modify anything, you do it right in Chat Designer. You don't need to wait for the time for the animation to render and then plug it in Chat Designer again. But disadvantage, it requires a lot of RAM and GPU to run in real time. Yeah, so that's and the quality compared to Blender is inferior. It's less quality than Blender. Okay, of course I can do a little bit of tricks to make it look better. Okay, add a little bit of bloom. Or I can use this bloom over here on the palette. Image filter and bloom over here. And blur size, low level. I can do a little bit of tricks over here. Okay. Okay, so it looks a little bit better, but compared to Blender, of course, Blender has a built-in Blender is a 3D program, so you see the physical rendering of the material is superior to Chat Designer. Okay, but okay. It's possible to do real-time rendering in Chat Designer. All right. Ổn không nhỉ? Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Đáp ứng.
So, is there any question regarding this workflow? Yeah. Oh. Just pitch to reset. What is it? Why isn't that show? You don't know? And Yes. See it now. Add another line. And TDR over here, make sure the metallic is small, because metallic will darken the material. Roughness. Then now edge same as well. Why the eye is black? Yeah, you miss the material for the eye. Should be around this area. Okay. Now any questions? Hello. Question. Yes.
How do I make the character go by itself?
How? What's the question? Bloom. There's two bloom, huh? There's one bloom in the top over here. Okay. But what I use is a more advanced thing. It's inside the palette, image filter, and bloom. You will have more control with this bloom. This is the top bloom. Ảo nhỉ? Yeah, and this is the bloom palette. Alright? Different effects. Low colors. Oh no. Yes. Why you need to bloom two things together?
Try this going to be different. Or maybe we can add like an
Use blend. Not merge, because merge is sorry, composite. Form. Form. Here. Over. X. Yeah, this two is the same. So might be different. Multiply, yeah.
Why is it something weird?
It doesn't really do anything, you know. So, because like two bloom, and you have like very similar setting to each other, you know. So, okay. Now, anyone has image of vector?